Welcome to episode 42 of Basics and Beyond, the podcast. Today, we talk about why your doctor visit should be a conversation and not a drive-through. This episode is all about preparing for your doctor's appointments, what symptoms you should track, what information you should bring, what labs you should ask for, why labs matter. Basically, we're going over how to make these doctor's appointments a time for you to get exactly what you need from your doctor. And what does that mean? That means you have to self-advocate and you have to be prepared. That's what we talk about today. Come on in and join us. I'm super excited you're here. Welcome to episode 42 of Basics and Beyond, the podcast. I'm so glad to have you here and glad to be with you today to talk about something really important: going to the doctor. I know, I'm a coach. Why would I talk about going to the doctor? Well, because going to the doctor is very important, because I am not a doctor and most coaches aren't doctors. We're just not. But going to the doctor is an important thing, and being prepared for that appointment is even more important. I can tell you from personal experience, years and years of going to the doctor and being like, I made the appointment. That's pretty much where I left my self-responsibility. Was I got the appointment made, I'm going to show up. That's it. That was all I really felt like I had to do to go to the doctor. Because why? Because they're the experts. They know everything they need to know. I'm just showing up so they can look at me and ask me questions. Well, guess what? Things are different nowadays. Although it should have been the same back then. We need to prepare ourselves when we go to the doctor. It's very important for you to understand why you're going, what you're going for, and be able to come in fully, how do I want to say this? Not just prepared, like you should be loaded with everything you want to have as a conversation, all your symptoms, all the things you're experiencing, so that this person in front of you who is supposed to be the expert, although, even they say they're just practicing, right? So let's put that where it should be. They aren't going to be the expert or even close to the expert on you. You're the expert on you. So it's important for you to go to that appointment prepared, not just go to the appointment because you made it. What do I mean by prepared? Well, number one, what did you make the appointment for? Or what do they want to see you about? That's very important, because if it's your yearly wellness exam, that's very different than I'm dealing with X issue and I have to make sure that these things are in order. Okay. That being said, if it is a specific appointment for something an issue that you are having to deal with, they still should know the things that we're going to talk about today. So before you step into that doctor's office, there are some things that you could even write this down. I would suggest writing it down. Then you don't forget. A lot of times, this is an interesting thing. When people go to a doctor's appointment, we don't remember everything for a very good reason. Most of the time, we walk in with a little bit of stress going on. Most people are anxious when they go to the doctor because most of the time, the doctor, it always feels like they're looking for something that's wrong with us, right? We have this impression that we're walking into the doctor's office and they're looking for what's not right with us. That's a terrible feeling to have. And of course, we're going to be anxious if we're going into any space feeling like everyone's looking for what's wrong with me. Of course. So a lot of times we walk into a doctor's office and our blood pressure is high. And if you're getting labs done, your cortisol might be high. We have to take that into consideration. So if we can prepare ourselves and really feel confident and like I am taking ownership of my health before we walk into the room, that's going to help us with that anxiousness and that stress level. Okay. So if you are having, and I really want to talk about something specific today, not about like if you have an issue and you're going to the doctor, those kinds of things. This can be helpful for that too. But one thing we need to keep in mind, and this is something that you're going to have to advocate for yourself with many doctors, Once a year, you should be getting a wellness exam. What does that look like? I'm not talking about cough once, let me look in your ears, hit your kneecap, you're good. No, no, no. I'm talking about a true wellness exam. And part of your wellness exam should be talking about how's the last year been? Has your weight increased? Are you noticing sleep issues? How's your energy? Are you having, like, what is happening with you and your symptoms, right? Is your hair starting to fall out? Are you a little more anxious than you used to be? How's your appetite? Are you bloated more than you used to be? All of those things are very important to bring to the table when you go to a wellness exam. Symptoms, those experiences that you have, and symptoms is just a word for bring in your experience from the last year, right? What's going on with you, right? We need to partner those things because that's your experience. We need to partner that with a good set of labs because that's hard data. So we take the quantitative with the qualitative and we put them together to get a picture of what's going on with you. Here's the catch. Many times when we schedule that wellness appointment, that yearly exam, our doctors don't get our labs or they don't get a complete set of labs. So before you make that appointment or when you make that appointment, you need to understand what getting a full set of labs each year means for you. There are generally accepted lab markers to get in a yearly exam that are very helpful to find out how your entire system is functioning. And we want to look at those labs as an entire system and see how they all kind of interplay together to see how you are in terms of your health and where we might find things that are, off a little bit or things that are going great, right? Another piece to that is it's important to know if you're going to have to pay for those or if that's part of your insurance. Now, here's the catch. If it is in part, let me say that again. If it's part of your insurance that you are covered to get a wellness lab panel every year, get the wellness lab panel every year. When you make that appointment, here's what you say. Hi, I want to make my wellness appointment for the year. And at the same time, I know that my insurance covers a full set of labs. So I would like to make sure that the morning of my appointment, and get your appointment in the morning, I'm going to be able to come in ahead of my appointment and get my labs drawn. That's going to set you up for a wonderful appointment because you're going to come in, you're immediately going to get your labs drawn because we want you to be fasted, right? Like 8 hours, 9 hours for those labs. And then you're going to be able to have that conversation with your doctor. So then your doctor will have that full set of labs. It won't be there right away, right? It's going to take a little bit. Some lab markers take a week, but your doctor is going to be able to have a conversation with you about what you've been experiencing, that qualitative data, right, that we're talking about. What's going on with you? How's it going? All the things. And he'll do all his, or she, whoever, your doctor, is going to do all those checks that they do, look in your nose, look in your mouth, all that kind of stuff. And then when those labs come back, you have your notes for the symptoms or the conversation that you had walking in with that qualitative data. And now the labs come in and now you have that quantitative data that you can look at and that your doctor can look at and partner those two things together and get a really good full picture of how your health is that day. And some of those, at least half of those labs tell you how you're doing just in general. Some of them are the daily, right? Especially if you're a little stressed out, your cortisol might be a little high, right? And if you're stressed out, your electrolytes might be a little off. So there are some factors that we have to kind of take into consideration when we look at our labs, that it is just a snapshot in time, but it's a very important snapshot in time. And you need to be prepared to do those things. So the next thing we need to talk about is, what does that full set of labs look like? Because a lot of doctors won't give you a full set of labs unless you advocate for yourself. And I'm telling you today, you need to advocate for yourself because if you don't, No one else is going to. I don't see anybody in that room with you that is there on your side doing that for you. I do this for my clients. I don't go to the appointment with them. That would be a little odd, but I do prep my clients ahead of time for when they are getting labs done. And we talk about how does it sound to advocate for yourself. And we just did that a little bit with the phone call. But you also need to know what a full lab workup looks like for you. Here's what it looks like. You get a CMP, you get a CBC, complete blood count, complete metabolic panel. That's pretty standard. If a doctor's not doing that for you, you might want to go get a new doctor because that's standard, right? Gives us a really good kind of overall general look at how your body's functioning. Also, very important to make sure that you're getting a full thyroid panel. Your thyroid is not just your TSH. In fact, it's not really about your thyroid so much as it's about other functions of your body. You want to get your T3, your free T3, your T4, free T4. Absolutely, you want to get the full panel. You also want to get reverse T3. You want to get your vitamin D. That's really important. If you can get B12, that's great. Always a good thing to see. You want to get your A1C, which is pretty standard nowadays. Also your GGT, which is a kidney marker, and your CRP. It's an inflammatory marker. Those are good things to get. All of those things are great. Let us not forget the last piece of the puzzle that we absolutely have to have. Those are your sex hormones. And everybody thinks, oh, you don't need to do those. You'll hear doctors say this all the time. You don't need to do those, men and women. Not true at all, ever. Not true. You need to know because, like I said, the body is a system. So all of these markers are telling us different things that are happening and they play off of one another, right? They interact with one another. We need to see how things are functioning. And guess what? Your sex hormones aren't just for fertility issues. Your sex hormones do so many other important functions in your body. And ladies, if you're going through perimenopause or menopause, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Guys too, man, if you're low on testosterone, your sleep is impacted, your energy isn't there, your sex drive isn't there. It affects so many things. So we need to know where we're at. And ladies, I'm here to tell you, if you are in menopause, I'm in menopause or out of menopause. No one ever talks about being out of menopause. Either way, you still need to get them done. You still need to know where they are, particularly if you want to be on HRT, and that's a whole nother conversation. However, even no matter your age, you need to be getting those labs in your yearly review, period. So here's the deal. This is all about prepping for your meeting with your doctor. Do not leave it up to the doctor. This doctor is not the expert on you. You are the expert on you. So do some prepping, do some planning before you step into that doctor's office. Know what you're asking, know how you're feeling. And every single year, get that full set of labs done. If you've never done one, it's a great baseline to have. And then you can see how you're changing over time. And then it's easier if something starts to go wonky and you're like, well, I got an extra 5 pounds on me or 10 pounds on me and I'm doing all the same things. What's happening? Then we can take a look at those and we can see the difference from year to year and see how things are going. And we can even do some little checks in between, right? If your thyroid's a little wonky at your wellness exam, well, maybe in 4 months, we just recheck your thyroid. Who knows? If you have questions about anything having to do with your advocating for yourself at your doctor's appointment, how to plan for your doctor's appointment, role playing, even what those conversations sound like, because it is a difficult conversation to have if you've never done that before. Or if you're looking for someone to help you analyze and look through those lab markers because you have some concerns yourself, reach out to a coach, reach out to me. It is what I do. Not all coaches do it. There are some of us who do it more frequently, and it is something that I love to do and I have all my clients do so that we can know exactly where we're at and exactly how we need to make progress. All right. So make sure you're advocating for yourself. Make sure you are requesting those labs once a year. Double check with your insurance, but most insurances cover them nowadays. And if you have questions, you can always DM me. You can find my website, hit me on Instagram, Facebook, Oh my good. LinkedIn, anywhere you get your social media information, I am there. You can find me, Coach Laura L. Um, and I would love to help you. This is really, really important stuff, everyone. I want to make sure that you get what you need stepping into that office and use that time that so that it's very productive for you, very beneficial for you, because that is your time to take your health into your own hands and advocate for being a healthier person. And like I said, you know you best. So you need to be prepared to have that conversation. Reach out, let me know what you think. And I'm excited to see you on the next episode. Have a great day.